future. We're going to start in just a couple of minutes. Ashley, what's your title there? It's embarrassing. Hi, I'm Mimi Lufkin, CEO Emerita at the National Alliance for Partnerships and Equity. I'd like to welcome you today to Make the Future, our Table Talk number 8. This session is focused on how to work with community-based organizations, and I'm excited to have Ashley Crow, the Chief Program Officer from Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas, joining us with me today. Hi, Ashley, how are you?
I am great. I'm so excited to be here. Hi, everybody.
I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of an introduction with you all about the project to give you some context for this work and to also share with you a little about where resources are available that you can access once you've completed today's webinar. And then I'll turn it over to Ashley to give a presentation about the work that they're doing. I want to remind you that this is a table talk, which means we like to have this be as interactive as possible. It's always helpful for you to keep your microphone muted during the presentation, just because of any ambient background noise. But you can also always communicate with us via the chat function in your control panel. So please use that for asking questions, or if you want to, you can always unmute your microphone and ask a quick question. So the National Alliance for Partnerships and Equity is in partnership with the Toyota Foundation and Project Lead the Way, engaging educators and recruiters in a network where they can learn and share best practices to increase participation in advanced manufacturing pathways. The tools and strategies can be used with students and parents at the K-12 and community college level to increase the participation and retention in females and students of color in STEM and career and technical education, leading to careers in advanced manufacturing. Advanced manufacturing faces a serious skills gap that could be solved by the inclusion of women and people of color, but a demographic shift in the manufacturing workforce will require a significant outreach effort with students and parents. This project will increase the capacity of educators at feeder high schools and community colleges in targeted North American communities with advanced manufacturing technician or AMT programs to implement research-based effective outreach strategies. The collateral, tools, and strategies developed as a result of this project will also be made available nationally and leveraged through NAEP's current professional development activities being implemented across the nation. We are excited your organization has partnered with us on this important project and look forward to the work ahead. Recruiters and educators from 7 states will be engaged in this project, and we are ready to provide opportunities for you to learn and network with each other. We're currently in the pilot phase of this activity. That's why we're focusing on these 7 states. These are all locations that have direct relationships with high schools, community colleges, and AMT programs that are located in Toyota communities. Our partners were selected strategically so that participating high schools most often are also feeder schools for the AMT programs in the project. We hope to enrich existing relationships and establish new ways to engage and recruit female students to educational programs aimed to build tomorrow's advanced manufacturing workforce. We've created a suite of tools that you can access on our learning management system. Our suite has 6 modules. The first module will introduce you to the NAEP courses and help you frame their content through the lens of advanced manufacturing. The 5th module contains our 9 best practices for recruiting females. And module 6 is a discussion space where our participants can share information, resources, and materials. You'll also have access to our YouTube channel where we're curating videos that you can use with students and their families. NAEP has scoured the research on attracting females to non-traditional careers and distilled that information into 9 key strategies. You can access information about each of these strategies, samples and suggestions of what to do and what not to do, and resources you can use with students and their families. This resource is available to download in the LMS or during this live presentation on the Materials tab on your control panel. feel free at any time to go there and download the document. It's a great resource that will help you engage with these 9 best practices. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton to Ashley. Again, today's table talk is focused on the 8th strategy, which is partner with community-based organizations. So Ashley, here you go.
Got it. Give me just one sec. Okay, can you see the screen, Mimi?
Sure can.
Great. Well, hi, my name is Ashley Crow, and I am the Chief Program Officer of Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas, and I'm really excited to share with you guys about the ways that we're working with schools and other entities in the community as a nonprofit to really formulate a STEM ecosystem here in the Dallas area. And so please ask me any questions as we go along, and I'm eager to engage with you guys. So thank you again for having me. We are very proud of our partnership with NAEP and think they do incredible work in the community. So very grateful for all that you guys do. So what I wanted to tell you about really is Girl Scouts. And as you know, Girl Scouts is probably not the Girl Scouts that's really that we've come to be that's let us build this facility in Northeast Texas that I'm going to talk about. We really feel our responsibility in the Dallas Metroplex being kind of the having 25,000 girls under our umbrella. It's really our responsibility to expose them to STEM careers. So they actually will pick a STEM career in their future and really take advantage in your realm, the education realm, guiding them to what classes to take in middle school and high school to lead up to that. So we really do feel that it is our responsibility to our girls. And excuse me, this is a little bit new to me, so there we go. My screen is not working. There we go. A little bit about who we are. Like many organizations, we have been around 107 years, and people who really think of Girl Scouts, the thing they think of is cookies, crafts, and camping. And even though that we are all those things and they're an important part of our history, we stand for so much more. We actually are the largest female pipeline leadership organization in the country. So our whole focus is about making girls realize their best selves for anything they do. Even if they don't pick a STEM career, we want to make sure that we guide them to be their best selves in all that they do. And our mission is to build girls of courage and confidence and character who make the world a better place. And it takes courage, confidence, and character for our girls to succeed. And we want our leaders to possess these skills. And one challenge is that we always think of is going back to those cookies, crafts, and camping. We are those things. And the cookie program, I'm proud to say, is the largest financial literacy and entrepreneurship program in the world. And it happens to be only for girls and only for Girl Scouts. And camping, we are so about camping. Most of you guys know as teachers, this is the first generation of kiddos to not really experience the outdoors in a meaningful way. And we're very focused on that. I mean, we really do try to integrate elements at our STEM Center, which you'll see, to make it a true outdoor, indoor learning STEM academy. But what people don't realize about girls, if they just think of Girl Scouts, if they just are constantly thinking of us as cookies, crafts, and camping, is that, again, we are the largest leadership pipeline for future female leaders, period. And we have over 50 million alumni, and 52% of women in business were Girl Scouts. 71% of female senators were Girl Scouts. 100% of female secretaries of state were Girl Scouts. Madeleine Albright, Condoleezza Rice, and Hillary Clinton, they were all Girl Scouts. And my favorite fact is that nearly every woman who has ever flown in space was a Girl Scout. And we know it works, that Girl Scouting works, because 4 out of 5 Girl Scouts identify as leaders, while only 2 in 5 non-Girl Scouts identify as leaders. And those are some really interesting stats that we're very proud of. One of the reasons we know that Girl Scouts works is because we have a century-old formula for serving girls. In a girl-only environment, girls discover who they are, what they believe in, and what their boundaries are. They connect with others in a global environment, and they take action in their community in a sustainable way. Everything they do in Girl Scouts, from earning a badge to swinging on the ropes course to doing archery or going to a STEM workshop at our beautiful STEM Center of Excellence, is girl-led, hands-on, and collaborative learning. And we know that's how girls learn best. And Girl Scouts is the expert in how girls learn and lead. And we do this so that girls develop confidence, a sense of self. We want them to be comfortable taking challenges, comfortable with failing forward, taking risks, that whole growth mindset that you guys are trying to work so hard on with your kids in the classroom. We know that they want to have practical values. We want them to have healthy relationships. That's so, the wellness initiative that's come out, I know all your schools are dealing with that too, is so important. And that's basic Girl Scouts, getting along, feeling good about yourselves. And also the big thing we also try to instill in all of our girls is community problem solving. We want them to be able to take a problem around them and have the leadership and the resources to make a change in their world, be it at a small or a high level. I just realized my mic was not on. Is that better now? Sorry about that. So we use our resources to give girls access to skills in 4 areas that we think are really important in this modern 21st century world. That is STEM, outdoors, entrepreneurship, and life skills. And we know it works. The opportunities that a girl gets in Girl Scouts, it changes their life. Now, we know not every girl is going to be the CEO of a major corporation or the first female president of the United States, but I do bet that that will be a Girl Scout. I can't wait for that to happen. I would put many on that actually, but every girl does have the skills that she needs to lead her best life. And we want to make that happen for all of her. We want her to own her own success, be solution oriented, and to be financially independent. And we want to make sure that Girl Scouts is for all girls. We are huge on inclusivity and diversity. So all that may be what you thought you knew about Girl Scouts, but today we're taking a different stance and we're taking the best of Girl Scout and making it relevant for our communities and for our girls. And this is so important because women are still underrepresented in leadership. 4% of Fortune 500 CEOs and 15% of corporate boards are women. And in STEM, it's even a little more disheartening. And we are actively working with companies and nonprofits and universities in Northeast Texas to really solve that STEM crisis and come up with a solution. And I have the honor of working with companies from all over the United States every day. We're very fortunate here in Dallas that so many tech companies and other large companies are based here, and they all are wanting to be a part of our STEM center. And when I talk to them, the STEM crisis resonates with them. They don't have enough engineers and they don't have enough people in those STEM fields to be viable, and it's a great place to get girls in, and that's why we're taking that responsibility, as you guys are, to make sure girls at a young age are aware of those careers. So there is a STEM crisis in this country, and over the next 10 years, there'll be a gap of 1 million STEM professionals. That means that 1 million jobs in the country will go unfilled because there will not be enough qualified professionals to hire. And that is really unfortunate, particularly because women are so underrepresented. In fact, women make up 50% of the workforce, but only 25% of the STEM jobs. And in Dallas, where we are, that's only 23%. If we can prepare our girls to go into STEM, they can fill that gap. And because STEM jobs pay substantially higher than non-STEM jobs, they will also be more financially secure. And that's really good for the community and good for their families. And the problem starts really early, and you all know this. The girls find exit ramps from STEM throughout their journey. In fact, many people don't realize that girls form their STEM identity as early as 3rd grade. And 3rd grade is known to be the first exit ramp for girls. And this is the first time that they decide they can or can't do STEM, or that they don't like STEM. It's where girls start to say math is for boys, not for girls. And I know NAEP does great work on that micro messaging, and we're really, really excited about that great work y'all done. But there is a large investment in high school girls and preparing them for STEM careers. But honestly, that is far too late. By high school, the funnel is extremely narrow. Only 11% of girls are interested in STEM. We must work to block that exit ramp much earlier. Girl Scouts addresses this by engaging girls in STEM early and often, and by giving them the social and emotional skills, confidence, comfort-seeking challenges, critical thinking skills, and problem-solving skills that research shows that will keep them in STEM longer. And the key of 3rd grade girls turns out to be our sweet spot. Girl Scouts serves nearly 500,000 brownies across the country. That's your 2nd and 3rd graders. And as you can see, we have the scale and scope to impact girls at every pivot point along the way, K through 12 journey. Now, the fact is there are many exit ramps for women in STEM. I see it really in 3 key phases. Girls opt out of STEM K through 12. Then if they are still engaged with STEM and head off to college to major in engineering or computer science, they are at risk of leaving STEM again in the environment. One of the things I was really honored to be a part of a couple of years ago was the Women in Writing the W in Engineering initiative that Chevron and Intuit put together. And they worked with the White House to try to stop this weed out mentality in college that is so prevalent. And I know from personal fact that my daughter went to a college and in engineering, and she was literally told that their job is to fail them. And we've got to stop that mentality in college. And I know that some colleges are very much more embracing where she went, but I'm excited to see that change, not only at a university level, but the corporations coming down and making that change too with government officials. That's really key. And we also have to make sure that once women get those jobs in the STEM fields, that they're in a culture and environment that they can flourish. And so we really understand that those 3 levels, we embrace the K through 12, but know that there are other points of junctures where kids really need to get help, and women too. As the experts in girls, Girl Scouts understands what girls needs to engage in STEM. And girls need a range of STEM experiences from K through 12. And over the last 2 years, Girl Scouts of the USA in New York has launched over 20 new STEM journeys, which are kind of a combination of badges. And they've also offered more than 48 badges. And these are all in engineering and computer science and outdoor STEM, cybersecurity, mechanical engineering, robotics, and space science. And this summer, I'm really proud to say they're rolling out 24 more journeys and 78 more badges. And that is huge. And research shows that girls are not motivated by power and money for their career. They are motivated by changing the world. Girls see how a doctor or a teacher changes the world, but they don't understand how an engineer or someone in technology changes the world. And that is something that we are greatly trying to change. We're trying to put that humanity and that personal touch into all the fields with STEM to really engage the girls and to have mentors at every juncture so they can say, oh, I can be that. That interests me. That sounds like something I want to do. And we're trying to progressively do that at our STEM Center K through 12. We want to make sure girls have access to resources and support them to stay in STEM long term. And so we've been doing, as Girl Scouts, we've been doing STEM work for really over 100 years. We're just now doing it very deliberately and making our stake in the ground for that. We're not new to STEM. Our founder, Juliet Gordon-Low, one of her first badges was about electricity and aviation. They were based on science principles. We've had a commitment to STEM all along the way, and many of the successful women in STEM today were Girl Scouts. As you can see by the slide, we have also evolved over the years, and today we have developed into a true pipeline for STEM leaders. And therefore, we have launched the STEM Pledge nationwide. And this is a giant commitment. And it's going to take all of us to do this. But we are having a commitment to put 2.5 million girls nationwide into a progressive STEM pipeline by 2025. And this $100 million campaign is the largest in the history of Girl Scouts, and it will change the workforce pipeline for this country. And we're poised to do this for a couple of reasons. First of all, we have the scale and the scope. We're the largest girl-serving organization in this country, and there's no other organization that comes close to serving as many girls as we do. At 1.7 million girls nationally, we can impact a significant number of potential future STEM leaders, and we're very excited to do that. We also have a proven program. Girl Scouts is the expert in how girls learn and lead, and the Girl Scout leadership experience teaches the girls social and emotional skills they need to stay in STEM for a long term. Like many other organizations, we offer STEM skill building, from cybersecurity to coding to robotics and more. And what makes us different from other skill building programs is that we pair the skill building with all other components the girls need long term. You can go many places to get coding. You can go many places to be on a robotics team, but we really feel that we do it through Girl Scouts. We add that social, emotional level for the girls. They can gain the confidence and comfort-seeking challenge that they're going to need as they take those hard classes in high school and they take those classes in college. And finally, we have mentors. We have more than 800,000 caring men and women who are supporting our girls in their leadership journey. And there's no other organization poised to do this work like Girl Scouts, and we're very proud to do it. Technical difficulties? Sorry about this, folks. Something has happened to my computer.
So Ashley,
I can.
at the bottom, it's okay, at the bottom of the screen, can you see the very light gray buttons there? There, did that work?
There we go. Okay. So I
Okay.
want to talk a little bit about what we're doing in Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas and Dallas. And again, we serve 25,000 girls. And so we are kind of the genesis for the national STEM-wide pledge, and that was inspired by our work in North Texas. So we are Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas. We have girls in 32 counties, 23,000 square miles. Our geographic umbrella is from DFW Airport over to Louisiana, up to Oklahoma, then down north of Waco. And we again serve 25,000 girls, and we've made a significant commitment here locally to changing the workforce pipeline of North Texas. And you can see the picture of our beautiful STEM Center. So the STEM Center of Excellence inspired the national commitment by STEM, and we've raised $14.1 million to create a 92-acre living learning laboratory, and it's the first of its kind facility in the country and in the Girl Scout movement. So one thing that we're really proud of is how we've kind of created this STEM ecosystem in Dallas. We have wonderful facilities that we partner with universities, we partner with corporations like Toyota and other ones like Ericsson to really inspire the girls. They can come for the weekend, they can come for a day, they can engage in cybersecurity for a 2-hour workshop, or come and explore and be in an astronomy club for a whole year. We're very grateful for that. And this opportunity came to us about 10 years ago, and how we developed the STEM Center is we had this large outdoor space that was given to us in 1927 by the Kiwanis Club, and we decided that we were going to really utilize this in partnership with TI. They were the genesis for this. They had an engineering crisis, and they called the engineering crisis that was going to be in 2020 and said, can you guys help us have girls choose engineering? We said gladly. So that idea spurred, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Spurred the idea to create just an all-girl living learning laboratory where girls could explore STEM very progressively and very intentionally. And so today, you can see more pictures of girls working with it. We've been so blessed in our community to have raised $4 million, and companies have given us just great in-kind donations. And we have 5G fiber, we have 3D printers, we have computer labs. Girls are learning cybersecurity, and we host regional robotics leagues. We have about 30 robotics teams from K through 8th grade. I mean, really, it's everything a girl needs to explore STEM. And this also, for us in Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas, just really changed how we decided to deliver programming. With us as the girl experts in our community, we started engaging STEM experts. We believe that we are the experts in girls, but we are by no means the experts in cybersecurity or robotics or computer science or mechanical engineering and so on. So that's where we rely very heavily on our university partnerships and our corporations and our other nonprofits to really make that STEM experience come alive for our girls. So this year we've had all of our councils across the country have visited, and we will have 6,000 girls come to the STEM Center and explore on a Girl Scout level. In addition, we host field trips for schools Monday through Friday, and we'll have 4,000 boys and girls K through 12 come explore and do field trips that are incredibly STEM-based and customized for where those classes need to be at the STEM Center. We're very proud of that work. We actually have a really interesting project with Duncanville ISD that is a Title I school near the STEM Center, and 30 of their best and brightest come 4 days a week. These are high school seniors that have kind of capped out on the science they can learn, and there's several national merit scholars, even a kiddo going to Stanford next year. They're just unbelievably bright, and they come to the STEM Center to engage in project-based learning, and have really helped us crystallize how older kids learn and lead best of that very high caliber. So that's just a wonderful partnership that we've explored. And much like all the programs we do at universities, we don't have, we try to really work with multiple facets to form this STEM ecosystem in universities. So we talk through K through 12 education. I have an amazing STEM advisory council that has people from school districts, it has university partners, it has corporations such as Toyota and Ericsson, AT&T and TI, and then also other nonprofits in Dallas that are very geared towards this work together. And we have the Girl Scout Leadership Institute, which is another high school program that we really try to take girls 9th through 12th grade and give them those tactical skills they're going to need. And we do this with a multitude of careers, both careers that require a college degree and careers that don't. We had an amazing day of welding one day because that's another job arena that we know girls really they need a larger women presence. So this is another facet that we really, outside of the STEM center, we really try to prep girls for their post-high school life, getting them exposure to careers that they would like, and more importantly, careers that they maybe not like. So we do that in a very deliberate way. The majority of that happens over the summer, and we're very excited about that. We also have some summer immersion programs that we offer. At the STEM Center specifically, we are offering a 2-week track focusing on biomedical engineering, and we're focused on the higher level architecture projects and a deep dive into physics. All these will really prep the girls to take a second look at what kind of careers they can have. And we really want to give our girls, who 82% of our girls are low to moderate income, those awesome experiences that they can actually put on their college resume and really engage with STEM professionals in a very advanced way. That's another picture of girls. That's the day they learned welding. It was really great. They came away very knowledgeable. So basically, to wrap it up, I hope you learned a little bit about what Girl Scouts, the modern 21st century Girl Scouts, is doing in a very deliberate way towards STEM. And we believe that it is the best organization for girls to partake in. There are mountains of research that show that an all-girl environment benefits girls in a significant way, especially in leadership and STEM. We remain very committed to ensuring that all of our girls get that all-girl environment in an organization focused on how girls learn and lead best. And what I want to say is, we talked about this earlier, is, it's really important for that SEL component to be layered in with the kids when they're learning those hard science, but also just having an experience for them where they can raise their hand. And we know girls are wired very differently than boys. And so it's really great for them to have that safe all-girl space so they can experiment. So when they go back to the co-ed classroom, they'll be really equipped and have a little more confidence to do that. And I think my last slide is some information on the STEM Center. So just some ways you can go to our website. We have a lot more information on what we're doing very deliberately there in Dallas. And we'd love to have you come visit, and I'd love to answer any questions.
Ashley, thank you very much. This has been very informative. I do have a few questions for you.
Great.
So, yeah. So first of all, I want to share something that someone, well, Ashley used Kathleen to share this on the chat, just so you're aware of it. She said, I absolutely agree about the university weed out philosophy. Some universities like Worcester Polytechnic Institute, WPI, they have a different philosophy. They say, we will guarantee that your student will graduate from here if they do 3 things. 1, go to class. 2, do the work. And 3, most importantly, ask for help. This is the idea of equity versus equality. And I think Kathleen is right. And we need to see post-secondary institutions be more about that than weeding out students.
Yeah, I agree. I think that whole, I didn't even know this existed in mass until I did meet that gentleman from the White House, and I forgot his name, but he literally has a petition that he's getting universities to sign, because they walk into a class and the professor says, look to the left, look to your right, only one of you will be here. And he's like, let's say, look to your left, look to your right. All of us are going to do this together. And so I think that that has a varying success. And I love what Catherine said. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So Kevin has a question. Can you tell us a little more about the parent and volunteer engagement with your STEM efforts? Are parents and volunteers pairing up with partners, mentoring, etc.?
Yes, and you know what? It's really tricky. We have learned that most of the Girl Scouts engage with Girl Scouting in their very traditional troop model, which is a mom is their troop leader, and they're faced with a whole year of curriculum planning. And we had noticed that most of those moms who might be like me, I'm not a STEM major, I'm a business degree major, I might be a little hesitant. So we have partnered with Ericsson to create an online learning platform that is very focused on what badges we're trying to get the kids to earn, if it's based on robotics or cybersecurity. And it's really trying to increase the troop leaders' STEM self-efficacy and their own STEM self-confidence and competence, so they can be that confident STEM person to these girls. So that's kind of our volunteer army. We're constantly evaluating, are we equipping our leaders to deliver STEM in the most valuable way for our girls? Does that answer your question, Kevin?
I'm going to add something to that and ask you if you've used teachers at all in this way, because one of the things to think about, I think, in this work is the Girl Scouts have the girls, and schools are interested in getting girls into their program, and the teachers have the expertise around the curriculum, for example, in advanced manufacturing, Project Lead the Way teachers, or other career and technical education teachers who can bring to that experience sometimes the content expertise, but don't necessarily have the vehicles in order to do outreach to girls. What a great partnership that could be too.
Yes, and I love that. And we actually have a school in Dallas. It's called Solar Prep Elementary, and it is a Dallas Independent School District school, and it's called a choice school, and it's all girl, and every girl in that school is a Girl Scout, and they actually deliver Girl Scout programming to the schools during the day. So we do have a couple of, probably like 10 schools in Dallas that are utilizing that model for a total of 1,500 schools, because there's no one better to deliver curriculum than teachers. And so we're really, really proud of those efforts, but I'm hoping to enhance that. And any ideas you have on further engagement, I would love, love, love to know about. My director at the STEM Center is a teacher, and teachers are just a critical part of what we're trying to make happen at many different levels, be it on my STEM advisory council from a school district, or we hire, former educators to deliver and guide us on the best methodology. But yes, teachers are critical. But I would love to learn more if you have any ideas.
Great. There was a question about how hands-on is the welding program. There was a slide that you shared about the welding activities the girls were involved in. Is it very hands-on?
So we actually do not have our own welding program at the moment. I plan to build a welding shed in 2 years. And that you saw was just a career exploration day at Trinity Industries in Dallas, that they just exposed the girls to what welding looked like. That is something that I think is critical. And so I am trying to raise a little bit more money to do, as you all know, welding can be very dangerous. You have to have a special building and a lot of equipment. And so I'm actually just diving into that process, and we'll figure it out this year and hopefully have budget to do that, a welding whole area in 2021. But I would also love more information about that, Doc. I'd love to learn.
I was going to suggest also for you to consider, connecting to the welding programs that exist at high schools and community colleges in the area too. Might be a good way to sort of start the process using their facilities as a way to see how that works before you build your own.
Yeah,
but
that's great.
Yeah. Actually, the other thing too is, there's a lot of virtual welding training going on. We've seen more and more of that happening. So you may want to look into that as well. But again, I would encourage you to speak with someone who's involved in teaching welding, and I'm sure that they can help direct you to curriculum and all kinds of cool technology around learning welding. So
that'd be great.
Yeah. Let's see, there was another question here. How much of your activities are specifically tied to manufacturing, such as welding is the example we've been talking about, robotics, electronics, anything else that you think may have a connection to the manufacturing industry?
I mean, I think the mechanical engineering badge for sure, and that's K through 12. And so we do that almost every weekend. And I think robotics too, we are huge into robotics. And, can see that tie. Toyota is a huge sponsor of ours. They built our beautiful Toyota Innovation Center, which is completely geared towards robotics, and they supply a lot of the equipment to do that. I'm hoping to start underwater robotics at our aquatic center this fall. I have a woman out of Texas A&M University who works in the engineering department guiding me on that. So hopefully I can get some funds garnered to do that hands-on work as well.
Is that Trisha Berry?
Actually, it's not Trisha Berry, but I did. But you know what? Trisha Berry and I were emailing today and yesterday. It's Shauna Fletcher out of Texas.
Oh, Shauna. Yeah, great.
Shauna, awesome.
You're connected to the right people, so this is all good.
Yeah, it's so funny. Trisha and I were just emailing this morning about the STEM ecosystem here in Dallas. So yeah, they're both amazing, brilliant women.
Yeah. So Kathleen suggested that soldering might be a great precursor hands-on activity to welding, and certainly lowers the risk of any kind of danger, that kind of thing.
And yes, and we I mentioned earlier the biomechanical engineering, and so the girls in that class do prosthetics. They make a 3D prosthetic with a 3D printer, and so there's a lot of soldering in there as well. So, but we need to do much more of it. So that's a great suggestion.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question because I think about the context in which you're doing this work, and you have this amazing facility and huge investment of resources there. What about somebody who's living in a small community in the middle of Mississippi and wants to connect to the local Girl Scout troop? What would you recommend to a teacher who's in that situation, or a guidance counselor? And what's the best strategy to engage with the local, what do you call it?
Councils? Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, give us some hints about when we don't have a great STEM center of excellence in our community. What are the things that we should be thinking about in terms of engaging with Girl Scouts?
In Texas, we are heavily reliant on our teachers. A lot of our teachers do after-school programming with our Girl Scouts and are actually the troop leaders. And so we're very lucky to have that connection here in Texas. And what I would encourage you to do if you're not in Northeast Texas is to go to girlscouts.org, and you can research where you can enter your zip code in, where you can find a council, and that will connect you to your local council. There's 112 different councils out there, and they're all very different. But everyone in this country is very focused on engaging with more STEM. So and they all have outreach mechanisms. So just start a dialogue, and you can even pass along my name, Ashley Crow. A lot of the councils do know me because we are kind of highlighted with the STEM Center. And there's a couple of things you can do. You can you can say I have an area of expertise that I'd really like to help and benefit, and kind of start a relationship and find out the gap that they're needing that you could fill. Additionally, we're always looking for teachers to be troop leaders. There's no better troop leader than a teacher. I mean, they have the exact skill set to impart such an impact on these young girls. We have lots of online the online portal to learn what badges you need to do is very easy and online. And so once you're set up to be a leader, you can access that. We also have in Northeast Texas that anyone can access the online portal called Jumpstart. And that is what I was mentioning earlier about how to get very hands-on tools to guide any adult on building up their STEM self-efficacy.
That's great. I know that there are lots of other organizations that serve girls as well. Certainly Girls Inc., Boys and Girls Clubs, and there are community-based organizations in communities all over the country that are engaging with young people. Are there any words of advice you would give when you think about when you get contacted by a teacher seeking a way to connect with girls that you might suggest that people, part of this particular strategy is to realize that as a teacher, you're not alone in this process. And when you're thinking about how do I encourage girls to engage in my program, and you said it in your webinar that at 3rd grade, that's when those young girls begin to build their identity about their engagement in STEM. And so if I, as a high school teacher, for example, wanted to figure out a way that I might be able to bring my students to a community place where there are girls, what are the things that I should remember about engaging girls at that level?
I think the first thing is to kind of look, there's a great organization that develops cities to have STEM ecosystems, and that's what their initiative is trying to do, kind of to give a progressive experience and resources. They're in 58 communities, so they're not in every community, but I would go to stemecosystem.org to see if there's something available, and that is just a massive pool of resources. Additionally, all those organizations that you talked about, Girls Inc. and Boys and Girls Club, they are all partners of ours. And so I would reach out, to any of those youth serving organizations. And it is a little bit trickier if you're not in a big area, but most communities right now are focused on, coding. There's Girls Who Code. There's just a plethora of organizations. All the local universities have youth outreach programs, be it a community college or a large, national institution or private institution. They all have arms that are really dedicated to K through 12 outreach, because they want your kids to pick STEM careers, to go into those majors. Most of the engineering, Women in Engineering, SWE is a huge organization that's very helpful. And those kiddos on campus that are getting those degrees they really want to help and can help you in your efforts as well.
Those are all great examples.
Yeah.
We did have another question come in. Industry role models, how do they play a part in the badges and activities?
So that's something we're really focused on trying to figure out. My dream is that every time a girl comes to the STEM Center and they are engaged in maybe just a 2-hour mechanical engineering workshop, that they have a mentor and a role model that they can ask questions and start formulating, a dialogue with, so that person can say, it's hard, and it's worth it, and here's what you need to do and prep for. I'm not actually looking for those people to facilitate the workshops, but I'm looking for a whole web of people to come in and engage with the girls, so the girls can see what they can be. It's very inspiring. We want both men and women to do that. We're also looking at doing that on an online platform. So we know that not every girl can come to the STEM Center. So how can we touch all of our girls in our council, all 25,000 girls, in an online platform so they can engage with STEM mentors as well?
Great. Well, I think that wraps it up. We've had a few good questions coming in, and certainly your answers, Ashley, are right on, and the experiences that the girls at the STEM Center must be having are just amazing. And I just want to say that I think the idea of working with a community-based organization who's focused on trying to engage girls in STEM can help really support programs that are happening in schools and begin to get young girls to understand that those are programs that are also for them, not, their perceptions about who they can be be broadened. So
it can be.
That would be great.
Well, thank you.
I did, actually, there was another quick question that popped in here. How do you schedule a tour?
Oh, I probably should have put my email address up there. Is there a way to put my email address up? Can I?
I can put it right into the chat box and send it out to everybody.
Yeah,
Remind me what it is quickly.
It's acrowe@gsnetx.org.
All right.
And just email me there and we will get you a tour. We'd be so honored.
All right, excellent. Okay, I'm going to take the controls back.
Awesome.
And
thank you guys very much.
Oh, Ashley, thank you. This has been really an interesting conversation.
Wonderful.
Let me just say, Ashley's going to hang around till the end here. So as I'm doing a little quick closing, if anybody has an additional question they want to ask, please feel free to jump in on the chat and ask it. I will stop talking and jump back to Ashley and ask her a question. She's here as a resource for us, and the programs in Northeast Texas that you offer at the STEM Center of Excellence are just amazing. And I know that Nate does a lot of work in Northeast Texas, and you were using all the right words and mentioning the right programs. So, so that was very well done.
Tag once taught me well.
Yes. She's taught all of us very well.
Yes.
All right. I just want to remind everyone that the learning management system contains lots of really great resources. This is the 8th of 9 table talks that we'll be doing. And I'd like to encourage you to be sure to access the LMS. Let me remind you that if you've had any issues with getting into the LMS, or that email that you received when you originally signed up is buried so deep you couldn't possibly find it anywhere, please just send us a quick email and we'd be more than happy to connect with you and get you back into the LMS and make sure that access is available to you. So please take a look at it. Our YouTube channel also has some great videos for you to share with your students and also at parent events. And so I would encourage you to also access our YouTube channel as well. And that's specifically, we have a channel that's specifically for our Make the Future project. I want to remind you that there are lots of benefits from being part of this project. Certainly increasing your knowledge, having access to tools related to best practices, growing your network amongst the organizations who are involved in the pilot. And we will eventually be expanding this pilot out nationally and sharing the resources in the fall, starting in the fall for this work. And so that network can be really expanded. And of course, increasing participation in your programs is ultimately what we're interested in, the benefits of getting young women, particularly women of color, engaged in advanced manufacturing programs across the country. So I want to remind you again that this is a pilot. The purpose of this is to get feedback from you about whether these table talks and the resources that we've developed that are available right now in the learning management system are of value to you. So please let us know that as you complete things like evaluations and feedback surveys that you'll be receiving from us. Again, if anyone in the group has a quick question they want to ask before we close the door here, I'd be happy to do that. And I also wanted to remind everyone that the 9th table talk will be coming up. This one is about engaging business and industry. And Kathleen, I'm going to ask, could you take a quick look at the calendar and remind me when the next one is? I'm sorry, it's been rescheduled to a new date. And I want to be sure I have the right information. Maybe somebody, or if Lisa, I know you're on the webinar as well. I apologize, I should have had this information up before we started, but I didn't. Anybody?
It's on May 29th.
May 29th. Thank you very much. All right, on May 29th, at what time?
Let me look. 3 p.m.
Is that 3 p.m. Eastern time, correct?
Yes, Eastern time.
Okay, and we'll have Michael Medella, who's the director of the Toyota USA Foundation, as well as Dennis Parker, who's from the training center at the Toyota plant in Lexington, Kentucky, joining us to talk about how to engage business and industry in your programs to expand access and success for underrepresented students in advanced manufacturing. Ashley, again, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
We will be posting this online so people can access it, and hope that if anyone has additional questions, if they're watching this not in real time, that it's all right if they reach out to you and ask those?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great day and good luck with your work, and please stay in touch and access the LMS.